name is Dave Ross and I'm a project manager here with Citrus Technology. The aim of this series of videos is to explore relational databases and SQL in particular, and we hope to help you make the most of your data. I'm going to start with a couple of introductory videos, but I hope to get to the meat as soon as I can, so please bear with me. I want to keep these videos brief and to the point, so we may as well get going. The first question is, what is a relational database? It's simply somewhere you can store your data in a structured form supporting large volumes and performant queries. The database itself can be seen as a collection of tables which may be associated with one another via relationships. These tables contain rows of data, and each row has a number of columns or attributes. Frankly, it's the most common type of database in use today, though there are other approaches which we may cover later. Popular examples include MySQL, SQL Server and Oracle. Perhaps the best way to understand this is just to have a quick look at an example database. Here I'm using our tool Citrus Replay, though any query tool will work fine. The database I'm using is a free example provided by the Firebird project, the link for which you'll find in the notes. Most vendors include sample databases. You'll have to check their documentation for specifics. I'm using Firebird here simply because it's self-contained and doesn't require a server, and you can therefore run these examples from anywhere. Okay, so let's get started. First, we need to create a connection. I'm using a Firebird embedded database. I'm going to give it a slightly better name than that. I've downloaded the sample file into my documents folder, and let's just connect to that database. What you'll see is the schema browser opened up on the database. The schema is simply a collection of tables that have some kind of relationship. So we have a country table, a customer table, a department, employee, and so on. If I look in more detail at, say, the customer table, what we can see here is it has a number of attributes or columns, a customer number, a customer name presumably, contact details, phone number, and so on. And if I pan down a little bit further and look at the sales table, you can see again it too has a number of columns. I won't deal with data types just now. We'll talk about those later on in another video. Okay, so let's issue our very first query. Let's do the simplest possible query we can. So right click on customer, select new SQL command, and this creates for us a very simple query, select star from customer. If I execute that query, what you see is I have 15 rows of data with each row has a customer number, a customer name, contact details, and so on. And if I pan across, you can see the rest of the data file. Okay. If I do the same for sales, again, same kind of query, a select star from sales. Select star means select everything from the sales table. And here we have 33 rows. It's a little bit bigger, but there's not much volume there. And interestingly, if I select one of those sales here, for example, there's a sale to a customer 1004, and presumably on the customer table there will be a customer with identifier 1004. In a later video we can go into how we can actually relate those two tables together with the queries. For now, all I really want you to take away is that a database contains a collection of tables. The tables themselves contain rows of data, and each row of data contains or has a number of attributes or columns. And the simplest query you can execute is just simply to select the entire table and to have a look at it. In the next video I'll go into a little bit more about how we can actually be a little bit clever with our select statements and develop that out a little bit better. But for now we'll leave it at that. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop me a line at video@citrustechnology.com. Thank you.